Well, Jurgen, we're here because you have an important message to deliver to our supporters. Would you like to tell them what that is?
I will leave the club at the end of the season.
Right, so I don't normally do videos about Liverpool because, let's be honest, YouTube is absolutely saturated with Liverpool content, football content, and I'll just be an ant in that whole spaghetti bolognese. But, you know, obviously, this is a bit of a special case, of course, unless you've been hiding under a rock or really just don't care about football. Jurgen Klopp has announced that he will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. Of course, he joined Liverpool in October 2015 following the sacking of Brendan Rodgers, and the rest is history. Obviously, a very sad moment for Liverpool fans. I guess even a sad moment for English football fans, particularly given that Jurgen Klopp has been very explicit that he will not be managing any other English Premier League club. So this is almost certainly sayonara of Wiedersehen to Jurgen Klopp from English football. Look, you know, like him or hate him, Jurgen Klopp has definitely made a very positive impact on English football, not just with the playing style, but you know, with his coaching, the way that he's really rallied the city of Liverpool and Liverpool fans, you know, giving them success that they haven't seen since the early 1990s. And yeah, so I guess it does come a little bit of a shock, but as you'll see later on, it's, you know, this has sort of been coming for a while. A shock, I guess, because, you know, Liverpool, it's not like Liverpool are struggling. They're 5 points clear at the top of the table, or Manchester City have had to play catch up a bit, and they've got Kevin De Bruyne, but, you know, they're 5 points on top, and that's always a good place to be. They're in the Carabao Cup, League Cup final, to play against, and, you know, you'd think they are slight favourites over Chelsea, at worst. They're still in the FA Cup. They're in the Europa League. They're looking pretty good on those. They've got Norwich this on Sunday, which will be the first game since this announcement. So that will be certainly be worth. It'll be worth a watch, seeing the reaction from the Anfield crowd. The first home game since Klopp made that big announcement. By the way, speaking of which, his last home game will be against Wolves in the Premier League. Obviously that's, you know, Europa, yeah, because after it's Europa League, FA Cup, they'll be played at neutral venues. But yeah, so Jurgen Klopp's last game at Anfield will be on the final day of the season at Wolves. So, and I can bet you they'll be hoping that I think all the script writers, including and Liverpool fans, will be hoping maybe just, you know, they finally win the league with a crowd behind them on that day. I mean, they came close, of course, in 2022. 2022, of course, on the final day. And, of course, that 2020 triumph was kind of, you know, yes, it was celebrated on the Kop, but, you know, it was an empty stand. So it would be nice to win a title with some fans there. And maybe this is the secret weapon that Liverpool have. We shall see. Look, I'm not really going to spend any time just talking about Jurgen Klopp's career, because it's been done and done and done all over and over, and there's still more to come on this. But I guess, obviously, the natural thought is who's going to be next. And I guess I kind of wanted to, you know, this brings me back. Look, this announcement actually has sort of been a long time coming. We understand that it's been understood that Jurgen Klopp actually went to FSG and told him in November that this would be his last season, that he would be leaving at the end of the season. And look, FSG are an organization, unlike, you know, the Glazers, unlike, you know, PSG, you know, the Qatar, you know, the owners of PSG or Chelsea even, who they don't make decisions on a whim. And I have a feeling that they could have announced it in November, but they didn't. I think, and I think the reason why is I think perhaps they were sort of trying to identify the the most suitable replacement for Jurgen Klopp. We know, of course, that with Jurgen Klopp leaving, the whole coaching staff is going. So you can rule out Pep Linders from the next, being the next Liverpool manager because he will be leaving. So I guess this might age poorly, but look. I know that we're talking about Xabi Alonso, who's done amazing stuff at Bayer Leverkusen, is a Liverpool legend. Roberto Di Serbi has been mentioned. Steven Gerrard has been mentioned, although him and Jose Mourinho would be terrible decisions by FSG, which I can't see FSG making. I think this is going to be a hot take, which may age well or may not, but I think Julian Nagelsmann will be the next Liverpool manager. Now, hear me out. Here's why. Julian Nagelsmann, of course, he was sacked by Bayern Munich. A shocking decision last year when you think about what happened at the time. Bayern were top of the table. No, they had struggles in the Champions League. They were struggling to win the Bundesliga, but it seemed pretty harsh at the time. And I guess in hindsight now, Thomas Tuchel hasn't really done much better. Julian Nagelsmann, of course, didn't have a job. Ended up taking the German national coach when Hansi Flick got fired. And I think the word is he has had to take a big pay cut just to take that job. He's 36, isn't he? So 36, I think, something. He's not. I mean, no offense, no disrespect to international football and your likes of Roberto Martinez, etc. Who coach international football, but international football is really for those who who've kind of achieved everything in club football. Kind of been there, done that, achieved it. Kind of maybe their time has passed. I guess I'm hinting that Jose Mourinho. I think a lot of people said Jose Mourinho is now perfect for international football. But look, Julian Nagelsmann is way too young to be an international football coach, for the rest of his life. And he's achieved what he wanted. Wanted to be Bayern Munich coach. He's done that, won a title. Didn't quite last as long as he might have liked, but he's already achieved that. So really, I guess the next he's always wanted to manage in the Premier League. So, and look, Nagelsmann is young. He's the sort of man. He's a bit like a Jurgen Klopp clone. Obviously, the playing styles will be different, but I think it'll still be really attractive. And I think he does kind of match the DNA that Liverpool are after. Look, I don't think he's gonna be. It's not gonna be like for like. I think that he's thinking Napoli when they hired Garcia to be Luciano Spalletti's replacement because they thought the DNA was right. Well, just because he had the DNA doesn't make him a competent coach, and Garcia left the job after only 3 months. I just think Nagelsmann, though, he's young. He could be there for a while. It could be the perfect transition. Going from I think maybe not quite, maybe sort of like Bill Shankly to Bill Shankly bought Paisley. We could have that little transition even if he's never coached. I mean, and that's good. He shouldn't have to be under that Klopp shadow, like do exactly what Klopp has done. But I just think Nagelsmann, particularly seeing that how much there's of this Red Bull influence that's there with got Dom Soboslai. That's I think Nagelsmann could very well be the next Liverpool manager. And sorry, I've jumped a few steps here. Look, the reason why I think Nagelsmann will be the next Liverpool manager is the fact that his contract with Germany will expire at the end of Euro 2024. Of course, the Euro 2024 is taking place in his home country, Germany. Whether they win it or not, get to the semis, whatever happens, look, he's just gone in there to do a rescue job. Remains to be seen whether he can. If he fails with Germany, look, I don't think it's going to be his fault because he's been in there for a short term just to put out fires. And I think he could still very well get them into the, to be honest, the Euros now, the way it is, I think it would be a huge shock if Germany don't even make the round of 16. I think they will probably get to the semi-finals because generally Germany have a pretty decent record at Euros. But that's not going to count against him at Liverpool because yeah, you were talking apples and oranges. Let's not forget Sir Alex Ferguson was Scotland manager when, unfortunately, due to tragic circumstances, can't remember who was the manager who passed away for Scotland, had a heart attack. But Ferguson stepped in at the last minute, a bit the way like Nagelsmann has done, albeit, Nagelsmann a lot less tragically, of course. But so anyway, that contract ends. I don't think he's gonna go he's not gonna stay in that Germany national coach. He's not like Jogi Löw, who's wanting to stay, he's pretty much established as Germany coach. I think he really wants to go back to club football. So I think, this 3 months, maybe they were sort of negotiating consulting what the best option was, and well, let's watch this space. I think the reason they waited till now perhaps indicates that there is a decision that's imminent, and that could only be a good thing, because it means Nagelsmann can focus on the Euros, knowing what his future is. I think you had that situation with Julian Lopetegui. He got the Real Madrid job halfway through the World Cup and then got fired by Spain halfway in the middle of the tournament, or not before it. Something. But I think it gives a bit of closure. We know this is going to be Klopp's last dance, and whoever comes in Nagelsmann, but it's not, then whoever's going to be announced imminently, they know that, they can focus on the job at hand and then just move on to the Liverpool job. So it's a win-win situation. But I guess that obviously leads to the question. So Nagelsmann's not going to be Germany coach beyond Euro 2024. Does that, I guess, who's going to be coach? And I guess there's always been talk that Jurgen Klopp as a future Germany coach. And I think he was probably, it had been talked about for some time. Jurgen Klopp, of course, has said that he wants to take a year off football. So, to be honest, I still think Jurgen Klopp could be the Germany manager. I think you have to think now, after the Euro 2024, the Germans will move on to World Cup qualifying. There'll be Nations League, but I don't know if they'll really give two hoots about that. World Cup, with the 2026 World Cup being expanded, Germany really, it'll be incredible if Germany didn't qualify for the World Cup. And I have to wonder if they could possibly have a caretaker coach there, and then Jurgen Klopp comes back in 2025 to be the Germany permanent manager and take them to the United States, Canada, Mexico. It's happened before. I mean, they did talk about that with Brazil. Of course, Ancelotti did sign on that extension of Real Madrid, so that's been completely rebuffed. But I mean, maybe Jogi Löw could come back as a caretaker just to make sure to keep things ticking along. Maybe preparing new players for when Jurgen Klopp comes back in. Who knows? But it would not surprise me if Jurgen Klopp was announced as the next Germany manager. And of course, I also cite that they always say they want to take a year off and then 3 months later in a new job. Take Luciano Spalletti, for example, who said he was going to take a year off, I think, from the Napoli job, only to become the Italy national coach only like 2 or 3 months later, or something even less. So they probably just realize once they're off the touchline, they get absolutely bored and just want to itch to get back. And that's where, bingo, that's your next Germany coach. So, look, this is all hearsay speculation. This will probably age poorly, but then again, it might age well and it might get a million hits. But I thought I'll share some thoughts there. Obviously, it's a huge moment. We shall just have to see what happens. Certainly hoping that at least Klopp will bow out with one trophy. Hopefully it's the Premier League. But we shall see. But, certainly has been a tremendous 10 seasons with Jurgen Klopp, and, certainly one of probably the greatest manager Liverpool's had in the modern Premier League era. So there it is. What are your thoughts on Jurgen Klopp? Who's going to replace Jurgen Klopp? Is it going to be Xabi Alonso? Is it Julian Nagelsmann? Could it be Roberto Di Cerbi? I mean, I think I should say, I think it's less likely it'll be Alonso Di Cerbi just because they're already contracted by Leverkusen and Brighton respectively, and I think they would cost a bit more than Julian Nagelsmann, but weird things have happened, so they will pick the right person, and if they want to spend money, so be it. Yeah, so I'd like to hear your thoughts and on who will be replacing him at Liverpool, and could he be the next Germany national coach? If you like this video, feel free to like, and don't forget to subscribe.